Okay, guys, here we go. The divisional round carries on, and this time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into the Dome to take on the Detroit Lions and head coach Dan Campbell. And, this is probably the most talked about team in the NFL right now, the Detroit Lions. They hadn't had a playoff game in 31 years at home, and, they beat the Rams, and, just a great win. And everybody was so excited to win this game, but the only one that wasn't that excited is Dan Campbell. And the reason is because he knows that there's more to be done in order to get to the ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. So let's get right to this matchup. When you talk about the Detroit Lions, this has been a progression of 3 years. They made the trade that traded Jared Goff from the Rams to the Lions in exchange for Matthew Stafford, who was kind of stagnant in Detroit. And then, Dan Campbell got a hold of Jared Goff, who is really a fragment of his former self and is all down, and Campbell believed in Goff and he built him back up. It took a couple years, and now he's at the level of the elite passers in the NFL. So when you talk about the Detroit Lions, they're more of a speed passing attack. They got tremendously fast, agile, great yak, yards after the catch. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you got a speedster in Jameson Williams, a great tight end in Laporta, and then you got two really strong change of pace backs. The dual threat of David Montgomery, who's the power back, and then the speed demon Jahmyr Gibbs makes it extremely tough for defenses to defend this offense, and it's hard to stop them. On the other side of the coin, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're just a happy-go-lucky group that has nothing to lose because they were never supposed to be here in the first place. Led by Baker Mayfield. At first, he was just supposed to be a Band-Aid until they drafted someone with the retirement of Tom Brady, and then all of a sudden, now Baker turns into an All-Pro. And what do you got? You got a team one step from the NFC Championship game. I mean, this is ridiculous for the Buccaneers, and they have to be extremely proud of themselves. But that cupboard's not bare either. Great wideouts in Godwin and Mike Evans. You got a great 3-down running back in Rashad White, and their defense is good too. They're led by Levante David, who has been there the entire time in this rebuild. You also got an All-Pro corner out there in Antonio Winfield, and this defense is no joke either. On the other side of the coin, the defense for the Lions is led by Aiden Hutchinson. He's an All-Pro, and he puts tremendous pressure, and then they got a great linebacker in Anzalone and a bunch of other pieces on this defense that, they're a bend, do not break defense, but they are susceptible to the big play. And so what am I thinking in this game? I'm thinking that Goff is going to go to the air. He's going to have protection with that great offensive line. They got Penny Sewell is one of the greatest offensive linemen in the NFL, and that whole offensive line is just a thing of beauty. They protect Goff because, he really can't run, so Goff has the time to pick defenses apart, and I think he's going to do that again in this game under no weather conditions, in a dome, 70 degrees, and how great of an opponent to get than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. These dominoes fell extremely right for Detroit now, and this is how I see it. So I'm thinking that Detroit is going to win this game, and they're going to win this game 38-30. They're going to barely cover the 6.5, but they will do it. I think it's not going to be that close at the beginning, and I think Tampa will get, a couple garbage touchdowns and make it close, but they're not going to cover, and there's no chance of Tampa beating this destined Detroit Lions Cinderella story, who is then going to meet the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. And what a great game that's going to be. Goff is going to go up against Purdy, and it's just going to be so much fun. But first, this game's going to unfold, and take Detroit. They're going to cover, and make sure you keep subscribing, sharing these videos, and liking them to Mark's Bets. And I thank you for everything. We're going to be here throughout all the playoffs, 51-9-2 going into this week's action. It's just a storybook 5 weeks, and I'm just blessed that I'm making these picks and they're right. So let's just keep it going. And by the way, if you don't know, I'm Mark Gottlieb.